The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Ladies and gentlemen, the Church of Lazlo has begun.
Yo, how are you, my man?
Fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm great.
Well, that is great news. Good to hear.
Girlfriend weather is here, buddy.
Yeah, it is.
We've all got hoodies on. I've had a little blackberry brandy. You?
Not yet.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. It does get darker earlier now. It feels like you can start drinking and doing that stuff earlier, you know?
But, I mean, I also look at it when it's summertime. I'm like, oh, look at that. It's party time, boys.
Right.
Feel free to drink. It's late all the time.
That's true. That's true.
It's just summer. A different feeling while you drink, but don't worry about that.
Very true. And now it's just here, right? That's it?
That's it. Like girlfriend weather is here now.
Yesterday it was like 90, and then everyone's like, oh, the weather's going to drop. This morning I had to turn the heat on.
Yeah. We're all wearing hoodies right now.
Yeah, and I look at my phone, and it's all 50s, 60s for the next however many days. It's done.
It's the best when you walk outside and you realize it's colder than you thought it was going to be, and if you go back inside and get a hoodie, that's the best.
It's nice.
That's the best.
I'm good with it. Everything with fall, everything except you and I leaving here and it's dark out.
You always get depressed.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I love it.
Ugh.
I hate it.
If we could just get a little more sunlight. What happened to those old moon towers?
Don't start complaining already. Jesus
I'm not complaining.
Christ.
I'm just saying that could.
It's already. It's like
one thing.
It's fine.
The seasonal depression is very real. It is, man.
Thanks, Mom.
It sucks.
I enjoy it.
But I like fall. I don't start getting this real seasonal depression until winter.
When it's like 5 o'clock and it's dark out.
Yeah, 4:30. It's freezing.
I like it because I can go home and go to bed at 8 and I don't feel bad. It's dark.
Yeah, I do like it when it snows. You really feel like you're not supposed to.
The days are long and I still haven't done anything. That makes me depressed. But if it's 8 o'clock and everybody's grumpy and sad, it just gives me... it's the actual excuse I need to do what I do any other time, which is just stay at home.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's true. It's true. You have a garage.
I do.
So I don't know how often you park your car in the garage, but
Never.
I don't have one. I mean, mine's detached. I don't use it. It's out back. So my car's always out front in the driveway. So I have to walk through the snow and stuff. As long as I don't have to go anywhere when it snows, it's great.
Yeah.
Other than that, fall is the perfect season. Why are you wearing an old school Buccaneers hoodie? Where did you get that?
I found it. I like it. Do you like it?
Yeah, I loved their old uniforms.
That's why I saw it. That old logo, I love it.
Yeah, people used to hate those. I think they just, because the team was so bad back then.
It's a cool logo, though, right?
They had to have been, were they the worst team of the 90s?
The Lions.
I just, as a kid, remember thinking the Buccaneers were bad. Yeah, but you had some stuff going for you in the 90s.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah. That's a pretty big something. I feel like the Buccaneers got Steve DeBerg when we were done with them. Like, here you go.
I think they probably did.
I don't remember them winning very many games. They were always that team that you feel like, oh, good, here's an easy win.
But they looked awesome. Those bright
uniforms,
orange.
I always thought were cool. I like those. I love the old Patriots uniforms.
Of course.
And the old Colts uniforms.
Yeah. And then baseball-wise, the old Padres, the old Houston Astros.
Man, I heard Bill Burr the other day talking about football. Did you hear this, Snowcone, when he talked about the Chiefs?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Talking about how he
never changed the uniform?
Yeah, how he gets up early on Sundays. Now, he wants to make sure he sees as much of Patrick Mahomes as possible while he's young. He's like, I got to watch those games. I don't watch as much football as I used to. And then he started talking about uniforms. He's like, man, Kansas City's uniforms are just, I don't remember if he said the best or one of the best, where he's like, I absolutely love those uniforms. I hope they never change them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Do you love the uniforms?
Love the uniforms. And my girlfriend does not.
I do not either.
You don't?
Really?
I love them.
No, I don't like the...
You don't like the home or the away? Because she hates them. She likes the white jersey.
I like the white one. I like the red and white. Yeah. I got no problems with that. I hate the touch of gold. Because all of a sudden it looks to me like, oh, is that... It's McDonald's colors.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I've thought that ever since I was a kid. I was like, oh, the red and the gold, it's just looks like it's part of the arches.
I think just growing up here, those are Chiefs colors.
Yeah.
Right, maybe you didn't. Yeah.
It's not
So for me,
McDonald's.
I always like, oh man, they're wearing the McDonald's jersey today.
What about when they do, what do they call it, the color rush, where they wear the pants and it's all red?
And I love it, but they still have a trace of gold on everything.
I like
They
the
do
gold.
that cherry red, the red out.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's slick, man.
I think overall
Always
they have
with
good
the gold
uniforms.
makes it look like they are golden arches.
And the Lions have awesome uniforms.
They're fine. I mean, they're not flashy or anything. I like the
But I
color
like the colors.
scale of
The
them.
colors
yeah,
are
but they're
cool.
fine. There's other uniforms I like better.
I'm sure we've had this exact
I think
conversation.
Pittsburgh's got great uniforms.
The Steelers and the Browns are two of my
Just
favorites.
classics.
I like the Giants uniforms. I don't like any of the new stuff that they've done where they update it, you know?
No.
Like with
the old school Rams are cool.
I don't like the new Broncos logo. I don't like the new Patriots
And we're talking about
logo.
all new stuff because I love the old Chargers. The
Yes.
powder blue Chargers.
Yes.
Those are great.
And sometimes they wear those for retro
Yeah.
games. I'm like, why? You guys should just stick with that.
Yeah.
I know it's sacrilege, but man, the old Denver, the D with the
It was,
that was cool.
much better.
Yeah.
When my high school was the Broncos.
And I know everybody hates
We
them.
had
I
to use
don't
that
like them,
logo.
but the Raiders uniforms are great.
Yeah.
I mean, they just look like what they're
It's-
trying to pull off. It's just black and silver and, I don't know, some sort
I
of
like that they
dead
haven't-
man pirate on the thing.
I
I
that
don't know what
they
it
haven't
is.
Yeah, I like that they haven't updated him and computerized
Right,
him
yeah, yeah.
whatever, like the Patriots did and everyone else
Who
did.
knows what it'll look like when they go to Vegas? I have no idea, but
They should keep it. At least that part of the logo they should keep. I saw one of
the
my...
Bengals are ridiculous.
You don't like it?
No,
Yeah, I've
the
never
little
liked
tiger hat thing. Stupid.
Not a fan either.
I love the Chiefs.
The Vikings
I
are
love
all right.
Chiefs
The
uniforms.
Vikings are all right.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of like purple on sports teams' uniforms.
It works for
What
them.
about Patriots?
The new
The
ones
new
or the
ones
old
are
ones?
fine.
I do like the old ones.
I don't like the new ones.
The old ones are better with the
ones are
red and the
cool.
guy on the side and the white helmet.
God,
Yes.
the Patriot, yeah.
Yeah.
Seahawks?
I like
Yeah.
their uniforms, and I always think
newer
that.
ones.
I don't like
And they're always doing something different with them. I don't know why the teams in the Pacific Northwest that seem to be around Nike somehow.
Like Oregon?
Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like when
You like
the
that-
Seahawks do like that bright
The
neon
bright
green
neon?
thing. Yeah, I like it.
I don't like that.
And that dark blue helmet that goes with it, or the all dark blue.
Yeah.
And then just like the neon gloves and
Yeah.
shoes. I think they have a cool look.
I think Colts are pretty classic, too. Just
yeah.
It's fine, yeah. I do like the old school ones, and I do think, as much as I dislike them, I do think the Steelers probably have the best uniform.
It's really-
overall. It's such a
it's
great
just a
mascot
classic.
too, and then to have the steel logo on your helmet. It's cool to have a mascot that actually has something to do with the city, you know, instead of just picking a random
Yeah.
animal or person or
Well,
whatever.
I think I've told you guys before, but I think if you take every sports team in the world and you put up all their logos and you have someone come from Mars and they have to take the picture of the uniform, right, and match it to a city,
yeah.
I don't think there's any better uniform than the Miami Dolphins. It's
Oh,
a
yeah, they do look
goddamn
good.
dolphin, and it's
And it's a
You
little
like the old
flashy.
one or the newer one?
all of them.
Yeah.
I think just the color of them, the dolphin on the side, I think the whole thing, you look at that and you go, where would that be? What, South Florida somewhere? I mean, you don't need Miami. That's got to be Miami.
Yeah, and it's flashy. It's a little bit Miami flashy.
Right, and it's got
Yeah.
that teal color. And I just always think when I look at that, they don't have to tell me where they're from.
Yeah.
I know where you're from.
Yeah.
Still, I know it was very
Man,
controversial.
the Jags one, that half helmet,
Yeah.
that's atrocious, man.
I don't like the Jags uniform
That's
either.
atrocious.
That high school that was the Bombers.
I don't mind their color scheme.
No, but it's
The
just
black, it's that
helmet.
picture. Like
Yeah.
it's like a cartoon
That
anime
half and
thing.
half.
Yeah.
That logo is the same thing. I put that in the same. It looks like the exact same computer AI program designed that. The Denver Broncos new logo, the Patriots new. I say new, they're not new anymore, but you know what I mean. They all look like they came out of the same pick art.
Just
thing.
that black and gold one they have looks like they didn't finish
Right.
spray painting it and they stopped halfway through. It looks horrible.
It looks like a college team a little bit, like a.
It looks
and
like one
a
of those
not very
fake
good
teams you
college
see in a
team.
movie,
Yeah.
like when they have to use a fake made up team. But that's what
You're
they
right, and the
You're right.
it's the helmet because the black with a
yeah.
little bit of teal,
It's
and
a
when they
cool
wear the double
design.
black, it's like the color scheme's fine. It's just the logo's atrocious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, Snowcone, about the movie thing, because I think about Any Given Sunday and all
Yeah,
those fake
any
logos that
kind
they
of
had.
made-up
Yeah, yeah.
And
team.
when they started doing these expansion teams, I couldn't help but think,
Right.
did you get that from a movie? They do all
Yeah.
kind
Or
of.
when the XFL was around, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess will be around. But back
Yeah.
then it was like, looks made up.
Part of it's just because, or most of it's just because you're not used to it. But
Right, of course. Oh, the Bears uniform. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah, the
Text line
Bears.
said that.
The
That's
Bears.
But we just like it because it's old.
I like all the old uniforms.
But it's not old and interesting, though, the Bears.
No, I like the
I like the
Browns
Saints
colors
with the
better.
New Orleans.
I do like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pretty good. The worst are the Panthers, the Jags. Those are the two that come to mind immediately.
Yeah.
It's like two miles, but I really don't
Cincinnati's
like
terrible.
the
Cincinnati.
You already mentioned, and then
I
don't
like the Jets. I like the green and white. I
It's
thought
fun.
green and white
Cool.
always looks together. It's
Yeah.
just kind of a classic look.
Yeah, I think that Broadway Joe too. It's
It's
classic.
kind of good.
Yeah.
Wait,
Bills.
whether or not you think the Chiefs uniform is the best, the Bills are great.
Bills are
as much
great.
as I hate them from growing up, having them beat the
I grew up
Chiefs every
watching them
time.
because of my stepdad, so I've been partial.
But they do have great uniforms. But even if you don't think the Chiefs are the best, they're still damn good. The uniforms we're talking about, and how about
The
the
helmets
the Royals
are
uniform?
like amazing.
Yeah.
The helmets are amazing, and the red and just the
Arrowhead.
arrow, and it's the gold on the just get rid of the goddamn gold.
I like it.
You look like Ronald McDonald out there.
I think growing up here, those are Chiefs
Red and
colors
gold,
first.
yeah.
But if you're from outside, maybe you see that as McDonald's first.
Well, now McDonald's is changing all their restaurants, so maybe it'll just be a Chiefs thing now.
It'll always be the
Using
golden
those.
arches, boys.
Carl has already
Yeah, he did the
given
ticket
someone
fairy
tickets,
thing.
and then the trip for 2 at 2. Today's the last day to get qualified for that, right?
Oh, it's Thursday already?
Isn't it, or is
Yeah.
it not?
Yeah, it
No,
is.
I took the trash out last
Oh,
night.
yeah. I took it out this morning. That's
I did
living
that
on the
last
edge,
week.
man.
My girlfriend had to do it last week because I was living on the edge. And last night I was like,
I
can't
take
do
the
it
boys to
twice.
school anyway, so it's really not that edgy.
But don't you have to like throw everything out of the fridge? That's the part that I don't look forward to is cleaning
Did
the
that
litter
this morning.
box and then
Yeah.
throwing everything out of the fridge. All the old yogurt and anything that's expired.
Yep.
Tuna
My life is
casserole.
different than yours, that's why. So this last week, I have my kids 50% of the time. So this last week, I didn't have them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday or Tuesday. So now I have them Wednesday, Thursday, right? The rest of the way.
Yeah.
So it's on and off, 50%. So if I don't have them, like coming up to this trash day, man, I have very little trash and very little in the fridge. Like it goes back to being single days. I'm like, oh man, that is a lot of Gatorade in that refrigerator,
Gatorade and some
and bottled
cigarettes.
water, some cigarettes, gallon of milk, and hamburger helper. That and then now, like I just went grocery shopping yesterday, so it'll be all refilled.
Yeah.
So when they're there, then it looks like, oh, look at this guy. He's a dad with kids. The whole world changes.
I do.
And then we eat it all until they're gone, and then I won't
the rest
turn
of
on
it
the
won't get
stove
touched.
until they
Yeah.
come back.
I do feel guilty throwing away all that food every week.
Yeah.
You open that pizza box and you're like, we just forgot this was in here. It's like
I
a
just
whole
heard
pizza.
today it was 40 Americans throw away 40% of the food we buy.
Well, yeah, huge. That was specifically of what we buy.
Yeah,
40%
it was
of
on
what we buy?
Freakonomics.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that number, I've heard that number before about like grocery stores and how much they throw
Yeah,
out.
they
Just
said
in total,
what we
how much
buy.
Americans throw out.
Right.
Whoa, it's insane. There's got to be a better way, but
I don't know. How do you say that?
I don't know.
I'm guessing it's all perishables, right?
Yeah, most of it. But I mean, most things do eventually go bad unless you're,
So you're throwing them
eating
away? I
old
mean,
school
you're
Twinkie.
throwing away. They're saying you're throwing away good food, but
You didn't
like
eat
to
it.
right.
Right. That's my thing.
You
So,
didn't
like,
eat it, but it
eat
went bad. It's not like I could keep it.
Right.
I don't just go home and
Waste
start
it.
throwing out canned vegetables.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Taking up too much space. And I just don't start hucking them.
Yeah, but
it's
I think
like
they're saying,
bananas that
I
I
think
didn't
they're
eat.
saying you should finish the pizza before you get some more food. You kept it in the refrigerator.
I didn't
already.
want any more pizza.
I know. That's what's great about being American and have plenty of food.
But it goes bad.
It is a luxury.
I
though.
don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think you're doing anything wrong, man.
So your last chance to get qualified for the trip for 2 at 2. If you have not been paying attention, you listen to the 2 o'clock hour. We get you qualified. You text 2 p.m. to 96500 when we tell you to, no sooner, no later. And then once you're qualified on Friday, we have a list of every phone number, every
Text line says
person who's
canned
qualified.
rabbit does never go bad.
Well, last couple of years.
Good call.
Just a couple of years. But a lot of that canned stuff is good for a while. So then listen on Friday. Tomorrow, Lazlo will call out the last 4 digits of someone's phone number who's been qualified this week, and you'll be going on a little trip there. It's a little White Reaper. Pretty cool band in a pretty cool city.
Man, I love White Reaper.
Me too.
Won't be
I think,
bad.
I think everybody here does.
So
That's
good.
one of the universally loved bands here, right?
So good.
That's why you should compost. You should compost.
Yeah.
You seem like a Snow cone seems like a composter to
I'd
me.
love to. I don't know much. Isn't it just like digging a hole and throwing stuff in?
No,
it and
you can buy
putting
like a
dirt over it?
compost bucket.
What exactly is it? I mean, I'm being honest. I know I'm dumb, but
You throw all your old food and scraps, then there's supposed to be like a certain ratio of stuff that you throw in there, and then
Okay.
eventually it turns into
mulch
fertilizer.
or fertilizer or something.
dirt fertilizer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely would. I really would.
Well,
I am that kind of guy.
well, you should do it then.
Yeah.
I think you just buy
Yeah. What do you need? I'll do it.
nothing.
I
Just
throw away a
like
bunch of food today.
You can
just
just
like a can.
Do you have any trees near your house? Because I think I've told you, I will go out front sometimes. If I have something that's going to stink in the fridge,
Yeah.
like, and it's several days until trash day and this stuff's going to stink, I throw it in the big bushes in between the trees. There's like 3 big trees with all these bushes,
Why?
My neighbors.
Let the rodents
I
come
throw it
down.
out there because I know that the animals will pick up what's left of it or whatever, and I don't want it stinking in my house.
Yeah.
Why don't you just throw it in the trash can?
Because it's something that's going to stink. Like anything that could start to stink back there, if it's because it's like, oh man, it's Friday. I've got a week until trash day again. So, and if it's something that I
Can
think
you
I can throw
smell
out
it
there,
that far?
sometimes you never walked into your house before and gone, ugh, and then your nose leads you to your trash can and you go,
Yeah, but then I throw the trash
stinks."
out and I don't smell
Yeah.
it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I just if I've got something I know is gonna stink, I'll just throw it out there. Or I just feel like it doesn't need to be in a trash bag, like
get the
an
trash out
apple,
the night before.
an apple core, orange rinds. I literally will take that. I'll take my apple cores and throw them out into the bushes.
I don't think there's anything
It's
wrong
like,
with that.
why does that need to sit in the trash?
no
And
compost.
I'm sure it creates something in the bag.
But I worry
methane,
take
who knows?
it out the night before, then the animals will get to it and tear it open overnight.
They
You
do
have to
that.
go clean it up. But if you try and do it in the morning, you may miss the trash man. Then it's just
You got to take it out there at night, or you'll miss them.
Yeah.
And how do you get one of those jobs? Because my trash
As a
guy
trash man?
listens, yeah. Or at least he used to. He used to message me, and he drives a trash
That'd be a
truck.
good job.
He said it's a sweet job.
bet.
And he
Well,
used
now
to...
they don't even have to do them. Now they just the little arm comes out.
Your
and goes
guys,
in.
your company uses the arms. In KC, they still just
Yeah,
they got
Waldo
guys
does. Oh, they do?
on the back of the
Yeah.
truck. They say it's faster. I don't know, but he said
My
the guy
problem
that
is
I took
sometimes
said
it doesn't
both
get it
jobs.
all.
Right, right.
That's the problem. Like sometimes, like if you put something in and it's stuck in there, they just flip it over and
Yeah.
it doesn't come out.
And the bag just stuck with suction.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch it happen. It's quite a process. They got to line that thing up. But he said it's a sweet job, and that he started off being the guy on the back throwing the garbage, and then moved up into the truck. I feel like you got to know someone to get a job that's sweet. I would love a job where I'm driving around like that. You just drive and stop. Once you make it to that point, you're like the king of the trash guys.
Pretty good job.
What are you supposed to call trash people now? Isn't it?
I think it's trash people.
It's sanitary something.
I don't think you say trash people.
Yeah, that's us. We're trash people. What is they work in? Is that sanitation?
Sanitation?
Sanitation. Work in sanitation.
That's what Tony Soprano worked in.
That's
Sanitation.
Right. Yeah,
He was in the sanitation business.
that's right.
It'd be interesting. I'm sure there's a list somewhere of all those job titles that have changed over time, just
Oh,
to sound a
sure.
little more politically correct. Or
I don't think you're allowed to say janitor anymore.
It's custodial
Arts?
Custodial
Arts.
something.
You're in the custodial arts. I
Custodial
think.
arts. Secretary is an administrative assistant.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. If I got a job as a secretary,
Hooker is sex worker.
Yeah, well, you missed prostitute in between there. It went. I think it went whore, hooker, prostitute, sex worker.
Yeah.
That's my guess, at least. The evolution of that.
I just thought that went by looks and cost.
Well, I think
I was just looks
there
and
could be
cost.
something to that. I ordered a sex worker, not a goddamn whore.
Exactly. That's what I thought until I started hanging out with you.
Well,
Because I was like, man, she's a whore. And you're like, sex worker? I'm like, no. You got to see her. She's a whore, like a real whore.
This is the Church of Lazlo.
Flashing with paparazzi involved in an incident.
These infected monkeys.
This is Headlines on the Church of Lazlo.
Yo, how are you?
I am fantastic. How
Hit
are
me
you?
with that news and information, sugar wiener.
News and information. Trump, I'm sure if you were on your phone last night looking at Twitter or looking at Reddit or just reading
Sure.
the news, you saw Trump's the internet's calling it a meltdown. It's just Trump. And Trump's been president for how long now? 2 years?
20 years.
Something like that? Yeah, it feels like a long time. I'm still not used to it, though. When I watch these
20
things,
years.
I still do get a little shocked. And I just think when I see him going, I'm like, just stop. Just stop. Obviously, we've heard all these stories about people around him trying to get him not to say certain things. Mr. President, don't say this, or don't say there's good people on both sides, or whatever it is. Whether any of those rumors are true or not, who knows? But I feel like if he's not following any of those directions, then you should just stick with, just keep it short. Keep it short, or just don't answer the question.
But by the way, they've tried to keep him quiet during the election.
Yeah.
And he won because he didn't keep it quiet. So it's hard to tell him what to do when he's the guy who won.
True. So he had this news conference with the Finnish president, and there was this reporter from Reuters who just was, relentless. He was doing his job, kept asking questions. Trump got upset. Trump said, "Are you asking me a question again? Ask him a question." Like he steps away from the podium. And by the way, when the guy from Reuters finally does ask the president of Finland a question, Trump ends up answering it anyway. It was insane to watch. And honestly, if you have some spare time this evening or afternoon, I recommend watching at least 10 minutes of it. It was quite a show.
My second question to you, sir, is the WTO ruled today in favor of the United States, saying that the United States can now impose tariffs on European goods because of illegal subsidies against Airbus.
It was a big win for the United States, right?
It wasn't.
You never had wins with other presidents, did you? But we're having a lot of wins at the WTO.
This was
since
a case that started, I think, 10 or 15 years ago.
Okay.
But
excuse me. Your wins are now because they think I don't like the WTO and they want to make sure I'm happy.
You didn't get wins with other presidents, did you? Wow.
No.
What about wars?
Like
and
World
stuff?
War I,
Yeah.
the Civil War, World War II. Guys have never won anything before
Finally
I got
got a
here.
president
Did
who
you?
won something. It's that WTO thing from 15 years ago. You know what? Snow Cone just put in this headline and then ran out of the studio. I heard him saying something about Schiff earlier. I know Trump was really mad that Adam Schiff made up stuff, and that's part of what Trump was so angry about. He said, Schiff lied, he misrepresented what I was saying, and if you watched what Schiff actually said, he said, I'm doing an exaggeration. This is not what Trump said. So I'm guessing, whatever Snow Cone put in here, I'm guessing something to do with Adam Schiff.
He's a lowlife. He should be forced to resign. He took a perfect conversation, realized he couldn't read it to Congress because it was perfect. It was a very nice conversation. I knew many people were on the phone. Not only were many people on the phone, we had stenographers on the phone taking it down word for word. He took that conversation, which was perfect. He said, I can't read this. So he made up a conversation and he reported it and said it to Congress and to the American people. And it was horrible what he said. And that was supposed to be coming from me, but it was all fabricated. He should resign from office in disgrace. And frankly, they should look at him for treason because he is making up the words of the President of the United States. Not only words, but the meaning. And it's a disgrace. It should not be allowed to happen.
So that is actually, we should have played that first because that was part of what got that reporter going was you say treason a lot. Is anyone who disagrees with you, are they treasonous? He's trying to answer that question. Man, he called himself a stable genius again.
Okay.
Said he's very careful with his words. Very careful with his words.
He knows what he's doing.
It was quite a show. And who knows if any of the media speculation or rumors are true that he's not getting any sleep and he's losing it and he's freaking out.
He's fine.
I think he's Trump. He looks like Trump. And they're saying, look at this meltdown, hashtag Trump loses it. Okay, well, that's kind of like every Trump presser.
Yeah, no.
I've seen a lot of these.
He's fine.
Man, yesterday I went downstairs.
This is where I think he's happiest.
Trump?
Yeah,
when
I'm
he gets
being
to do
honest.
these, and then people just talk about it. They're distracted.
Yeah, and then he gets to argue and fight and,
I know, everyone's
call
talking about
people
his press
disgraceful
conference.
and horrible and talk about killing people and treasonous and whatever. I think this is where he likes to be.
So yesterday, you guys went down to smoke, and I ran downstairs real quick, and there was a group of people that we work with, and they were in a circle, and they were all talking about the Aubrey Geiger case, the Dallas police officer who shot the guy in his own home. And, they're all – it's interesting how people are very passionate one way or the other. Like, there's no way it could have totally been a mistake. Or, no, I saw her reaction. It was a total mistake. You still have to get in trouble for that. I haven't heard anyone personally who says she shouldn't go to jail. It was an accident. It's just – there were some people who said she should have got more time and all those things.
Right.
But the big thing that people were talking about yesterday that I did not see until as we were leaving work, did you see that during the sentencing, Botham's brother hugged her? Did you see this? It was.
No.
I know you're not like an emotional guy, but his brother was on the stand and he's talking and he says, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but could I give her a hug? He gets, the judge says, okay. He comes down, walks around, and Amber Geiger's sitting over there with her attorneys or whatever. She stands up, comes over, and she just sobs, hugging him. Now, Botham's mom says, like, hey, that was his decision. It wasn't our decision. This doesn't mean that we have totally forgiven her. We are forgiving family. He's a very forgiving person. But it was a pretty crazy thing to see. It's just been such a huge news story, especially these last couple of weeks with the trial, and then to see it all kind of end with this.
Did you say, I know you don't have any emotions? Is that what you said to me?
I said, I know you don't get emotional about this kind of stuff, yeah.
I thought you said...
If I said, I meant you don't get emotional about this kind of... Like, you're not going to get choked up and go, man, that was a moving moment. But
because I don't have any emotions?
Yeah, like, for the most part. You're the one who said it.
Wow.
I'm just quoting you, I think, past statements. But if you were the kind of person who gets a little emotional, this was a touching moment.
I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please?
The young man just wanted to say something after the sentencing hearing. Then, Brandt and Geiger hugged while Geiger sobbed.
What Brandt did was to cleanse his heart towards Amber.
So, that was the mom there. It's pretty crazy. I'd like to think that... Could you forgive someone say that you believed that it was truly an accident, but what they did was reckless. So yes, it was an accident, but it's not the same as like a car accident where I wasn't distracted or something. It was just a real accident. It was you doing something reckless. You made some mistakes.
Drinking and driving?
Yeah, right. Like drinking and driving. Could you hug that person? Like you knew that they were upset. I think depending on the circumstances, I'd like to think that I would want to try and forgive that person.
Sure.
And still be obviously upset with them. But I don't think I would
want
to.
Obviously,
but I don't want them. Part of their punishment doesn't need to be that I refuse to ever forgive them.
Well, I think it's totally up to you.
It's totally up to you. Agreed. Trump, he tweeted a video meme. Did you see this yesterday? But it contained an altered music clip from this band and this song. You know this? You remember this song?
Look at this photograph.
My favorite.
This is Lazlo's favorite song.
Oh, man. What the hell's on Joey's head?
Yeah.
And what the hell is on Joey's head?
Well, they're Canadian, right? But Trump's tweet, the video, if you look at it now, it says video cannot be displayed. Last I checked, the tweet had not been removed, but it can no longer be played because Nickelback said you can't use it. Hey, copyright claim. That's our song. Now that I don't know if that means that these Canadian guys like we're anti-Trump, or if they're just saying we don't want to be involved. And I don't know if Nickelback fans still listen to Nickelback. You know, that's
right. I don't know.
I don't really know. Do they? Are there Nickelback fans there?
If Nickelback played here today, I have no idea where they would play.
Me neither.
If you told me they were playing the Sprint Center, I'd be like, okay. And if you told me they were playing
300 people,
yeah, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I don't have any idea, and I don't know if those people who loved those songs still love Nickelback or not. But the tweet was part of Trump's ongoing attacks on I guess the former vice president and his kid. But everyone likes to think that Nickelback said you can't use it. Anytime a band does that, it's a bit of a political statement, isn't it? Opioid doctor just got in trouble. Well, he's not an opioid doctor. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. He is a doctor.
You're the opioid doctor.
He is a doctor who prescribed a lot of opioids. And he went to trial for it because they didn't think what he was doing was legal.
Ugh. Sorry, I just got one of those shooting pains in one testicle.
Oh, I thought
it's gone now.
I thought you got worried that your doctor was going to stop prescribing stuff because that's when I saw this and went, oh!
I don't get opioids.
Oh! They're going to start putting doctors away.
You ever get a shooting pain through one testicle?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that just happened to me.
Yeah. I thought Moby, that first time at
that's right.
Moby, that was the first time it ever happened. So this Virginia doctor, he prescribed a lot of opioids, about 500,000 opioid doses in like 2 years. That sounds like a lot.
Prosecutors say he ran his medical practice in Martinsville like an interstate drug distribution ring. According to the DEA, he prescribed about 500,000 doses of highly addictive opioids like oxycodone, which caused the death of a West Virginia woman.
Okay, now I want you to look at this guy's picture. He looks like he works at Lens Crafters or something, right? White guy.
He could be a doctor,
generic
too.
button-up shirt. Yeah, just kind of looks like a doctor. Mm-hmm. You think of that. I don't know. Does that count as a white-collar crime or?
Yeah, but why is he prescribing him so much?
But yeah, so do you know you got 40 years? 40 years. That's a very, very, very long time in prison.
And why was he doing it? What's his end game to prescribe him so much? I don't understand.
I guess just because he was making money off of it. Like he was prescribing these opioids, which what do they call that? Is it a prescription mill? I'm thinking of a diploma mill. But those places where you go and it's kind of like where you go get your prescription in California.
Yeah, and what's the doctor make off that? Just a percentage? I have no idea. I don't think that's right.
I don't know, but
real?
I think he probably just gets the insurance money. He says, this is what I do. I know I can bring in this many patients to my practice because they're all just going to come here for opioids. They're going to tell their friends I prescribe opioids. And I'll charge the insurance company whatever it costs for a visit.
Checkup?
Yeah, for a visit and everything. And I just get all that money. That's what I assume those doctors are doing. But 40 years in prison. They say that he flooded the region with opioid prescriptions and hid behind his white doctor's coat as a large-scale drug dealer. That's what one of the agents said from the DEA. In testimony, the doctor said he was duped by some of his patients, many of whom told him pain clinics near them had already been shut down. Quote, I learned several lessons the hard way about trusting people that I never should have trusted. Now, look, I'm guessing this guy knew that he shouldn't have been prescribing these opioids.
That's a lot of opioids.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that. But I would like to remind everyone that all these pharmaceutical companies have been sued and they've been fined billions of dollars now.
Right.
We have an opioid epidemic. And the reason they say we're where we are now is because these pharmaceutical companies convinced doctors that these were safe drugs and that they were not as addictive as people think and that people deserve to be pain-free. We went through this big thing with our healthcare system and everything where we said, people, they put the chart up in the hospital. How much pain are you in on a smiley face level of 1 to 10. You've seen those, right?
Sure.
Every hospital has that because it was all about making sure you're not in pain. And so for a while, the pharmaceutical company's saying, hey, even the government is saying it's make sure these people aren't in pain. Then we've got these drugs here. They're not addictive, but I think this guy probably, this was all pretty shady. He was doing it under the table.
And how much did he prescribe him?
They said 500,000 doses in like 2 years or something, and that people would pay him with like their credit card and cash and stuff. So, did you see there was a knife attack in Paris? Paris knife attack?
No, I didn't.
I think that was technically this morning, but four people were killed, I think.
Breaking news we are tracking comes out of Paris. A man with a knife has attacked police headquarters in that city. The police union says 4 officers are dead. So is the attacker.
4 people with a knife.
Wow.
That's
pretty good.
You got a lot of people.
I mean, it's bad.
It's bad, but I know what you meant.
That's a pretty good rate for...
It's a tragedy. But to go in with a knife against police and get 4 people, I mean, you can't help but compare because, we had this anniversary of the Vegas shooting.
Right.
And just look at the numbers and see the difference because people like to use that as an argument. Hey, Robert De Niro's in trouble. I knew nothing about this. All I knew about Robert De Niro recently is that he's been promoting his new movie like crazy, right? Which is going to be on Netflix soon. And then he talked some trash on Trump, right? And he went on CNN over the weekend and said the F word twice. Yeah, and people loved it. I didn't know that he had been like suing someone that used to work for him and had this big problem. This is her, okay? That's the girl that used to work with him. She's a former employee of De Niro's production company. She's now suing him with, she's got this federal lawsuit that she announced today, I guess. She's claiming that he harassed her and discriminated against her for being a woman, then retaliated against her when she told him of her plans to take legal action. Now, part of this was that I had not heard, first of all, they had recorded a message that De Niro left her. Kind of like when Alec Baldwin left that message. It reminds me of that. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's long.
But this is him talking to her?
It's supposed to be leaving her a message. This is just
about work?
About her being ungrateful and he doesn't like her. You'll hear. It's a little muddy, but I think you can make it out.
Okay, you're living in Spain and you're upset with me because you tell me how nice you have it, your life over there, and you don't answer my call? How dare you? You're about to be fired. You're history.
You're about to be fired. You're history. How dare you effing disrespect me? In one example, De Niro allegedly went ballistic on the woman, calling her a spoiled brat in this explicit voicemail, which I played a clip of. So she is suing him. But
for what?
I did not know.
For leaving a nasty voicemail?
For harassment. Whatever I said at the beginning of that story. She filed this thing for harassment in a volatile workplace or whatever. So she says that she was being mistreated, discriminated against for being a woman. And then she's saying that he tried to retaliate against her when she told him of the plans, that she was going to take legal action. And this is the part that I hadn't heard. Apparently, before she filed this, I guess De Niro had gone after her and said that basically she was a bad assistant and that all she did was stream Friends episodes.
Now I believe him.
That was part of the thing.
I do believe him.
I guess
you goddamn millennials and Friends.
I guess he tried to get out in front of it by saying that, all this person did was sit and stream Friends. I had not heard of this. Accused everything from abusing corporate credit cards to binge watching. This is a quote. Now, this is what he had said that he was his lawsuit, because De Niro filed a lawsuit, I guess, first. So in his lawsuit, he says that she abused the corporate credit card and binge watched, this is a quote, astounding hours of TV shows on Netflix, including 55 episodes of Friends. It's a $6 million lawsuit, which is, they say, rather unusual, and had, they said, the airs of being a preemptive strike against someone who wouldn't sign an agreement, because he knew that maybe she was coming after him. I didn't know about any of this. I didn't know that he had said, I'm going to sue this woman.
Well, his movie's coming out on Netflix, so I'm sure they're going to help him and say, hey, this is how many hours she watched this show.
Yeah.
And what time she watched it.
Oh, you're saying Netflix will have his back.
Why wouldn't they?
So maybe he says,
that's why he said
I got
it.
this disgruntled former employee, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, hey, Bobby, what's going on? Hold on. Let's talk about this. And so then he says, all she did was sit around and watch Friends. Like, we can look that up. We can show
I'm
you
sure
how many
somebody
hours
did.
Yeah.
I don't know if it haven't went down like that, but yeah, exactly like that.
That's I did not think about that.
Maybe it's the other way around. He's like, I got this disgruntled lady. All she did was sit around and watch your goddamn Netflix. I'm doing a movie for you. And all she's doing is watching Friends on Netflix. Hey, by the way, you know how many episodes she watched on Netflix? Can you guys track that stuff?
Yeah, and what time she watched it.
Yeah, of course we can. We know what time she watched it.
Yeah.
When's she supposed to be working?
Yeah. Now
they're like 55 episodes, because, they know how many.
Yeah. And if they say it was at 2 o'clock when she should have been working or whatever, then I guess they can use that. I don't have audio for this story, but I thought this was interesting. A job applicant. So she applies for a job. This is the headline. Job applicant outraged after company shares her bikini photo on Instagram as a, quote, PSA. This is not doing you any favors. That's the quote there. So it says that this job applicant was outraged and talked about it on social media because this company that she applied to shared one of her personal Instagram posts along with this PSA to future job prospects, future applicants.
Okay.
This girl's 24 years old. She's from Austin. She applied for this marketing coordinating internship at this place called Kick-Ass Masterminds.
Kick-Ass!
It totally sounds like it would be based in Austin. It's an Austin-based marketing company. And I guess it's founded primarily by and run primarily by
people
women,
who are kick-ass.
Women. And they are hell-bent on helping entrepreneurs grow businesses faster than they could on their own. So she says
that's kick-ass.
That she filed an online application, and then when she did this online application, it prompted her to follow the company's Instagram account.
Okay.
So it says, okay, you want to apply, you should follow us on Instagram. And here's a quote of what it said. For an advantage over other applicants, is what she's saying. If you want an advantage over other applicants, you should follow us on Instagram. If I saw that online, I would think, okay, they want to take a look at my history and see if I party, what I'm like and whatever. So she says when she did so.
Do you party?
Do you party, bro? You say you're sick when you should be at work, but you're actually partying, bro? Hey, bro, what do you got in your hand there, bro?
Nah, bro.
Bro, how old is that girl, bro? Come on now, you can't work here, bro. So when she did this, when she followed them on Instagram, she said that she was shocked to find a photo of herself in a swimsuit on the company's Instagram story. So they screenshotted her Instagram and then put a picture of her on their story. This is the picture. Ay caramba.
Okay. And what they say?
Oh my goodness. So
PSA, what?
That's the picture. So then they put down here, PSA, because I know some of you applicants are looking at this. Do not share your social media with potential employer if this is the kind of content on it. I'm looking for a professional marketer, not a bikini model. Go on with your bad self and do whatever in private, but this is not doing you any favors in finding a professional job. So it's a picture of her in a bikini where you see bottom boob instead of top boob. Y'all know the type.
Jesus.
You know, bottom boob is it's rarer than top boob, so it does seems more provocative. But you asked her, according to her, you allegedly asked her to follow your company's Instagram, And so she's got a big.
Why wouldn't you hire someone who has that on their Instagram anyway?
Right, and you're supposed to be a company that's
it's like they're blowing a donkey or something.
Kick-ass women or whatever, and you're empowering women. So what's wrong with this? She's wearing the swimsuit, and that's how the swimsuit is designed to be worn, it looks like. You can see, I think it's got a strap that comes up around to hold it so that you can show bottom cleavage instead of top cleavage.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little provocative, whatever, it's sexy. But why would you say PSA? I'm with you. Like, it would have to be if you told me this is what the company wrote and they got a picture from an applicant's Instagram and you said, guess what was on the picture? Boy,
and it's just them with, like, guns in their hands, a bottle of tequila while being arrested.
Yes, exactly.
I'd be like, you know what?
Wearing a
That's a good idea. You ought to delete that one.
Wearing a shirt that says,
but this is just a woman in a bikini.
A woman in the pool in a bikini who applied to work for you.
Who says kick ass anymore, by the way? I just kept saying it because it sounded so weird. Like, I think I said it in the 80s. It's like, man, that is really kick ass. Nobody says that anymore, do they?
Maybe 90s. I think I said it in the 90s.
My kids were asking me the other day, what did I say when I was younger that like they would never say now? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to come up with.
I don't hear people say, like, that kicks ass.
No.
Or certainly they don't say, oh, kick ass.
Right, no.
No, kick ass. That sounds like you moved to California at a young age and you had like a very small group of friends that you have been isolated somewhere in California with for the last 20 years.
Yeah, because we certainly said it all the time when I was a kid.
And now you go, kick ass, man.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this
Did you
guy.
watch that game last night? That was kick ass.
That was kick-ass.
But
you're right.
The way you said it, that's why I kept saying it over and over again.
No.
Doesn't sound normal anymore.
You're right. You're right.
We used to say tasty.
Yeah. We don't say, no one says that anymore.
No one. Like if it's,
tasty.
that song is
changed
tasty.
to the other T word, the extra word for boobs. People started saying that somewhere in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That's kind of over, too.
I was trying to come up with those, but I couldn't think of a lot of stuff that they wouldn't say.
Just Google, like, outdated 80s slang or 80s slang terms or something like that.
I mean, because people still say that's cool, right? That's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Not as much, though.
That's cool. No, I think people say. I think you don't. It's not a big.
It used to be. Everything used to be.
But I think you can still say, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think definitely say that. Anyway, this woman, she should
awesome.
be angry.
People still say awesome, don't they?
People say awesome.
I'm looking at them for you.
This is supposed to be 80s stuff?
80s.
Okay.
But a lot of this stuff I didn't say. This is just made up crap.
Like in the 90s, I'm sure they'd put cool beans or whatever, all that in a bag of chips. No one ever actually said that stuff.
No.
I'm trying to think what we said in the 90s when we were kids that we don't say now.
It's really not. Most of the stuff that they have on here is just not anything that I would have said anyway.
A lot of it would be also just how you emphasize something. You know? I guess in the 90s we said not. There was that whole Wayne's World thing, not. There was, what about Booyah? This is on a list from the 90s. Booyah. Yeah. No one says that. Clueless made as if popular.
Right.
Did people actually say that, though? Talk to the Hand, people said. That's a good one, Home Skillet. Do you remember that? That was probably, this says it was 90s. Home Skillet was a dumb one, and I remember people saying that at school.
I remember bad, but people don't say that.
Say
anymore.
What?
Bad as in good.
Oh,
like that's bad.
No, you'd have to say badass, I guess.
Yeah.
Which still sounds a little
dated.
Oh, man, this band is so bad. Whoa, that's weird. It doesn't work anymore.
No.
It doesn't even work
But
anymore.
when I was a kid, it meant they were great.
And in the 90s, too.
But now they do the sick.
Yeah, sick.
It's kind of sick is kind of taken over for bad, right?
Yeah. You're right. Tight.
Like, man, that band is sick.
Yeah.
That's the same as that band's bad.
Yeah, you're
now
right.
That really sounds like that band's bad.
Now it's Gucci or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could not say, like, if someone said, how was a concert? You go, man, that band is bad.
No.
They would go, I thought you liked them.
Yeah, no, exactly. It doesn't work anymore.
All right, some people really hate the electric scooters that are in every city.
You.
And I don't hate them.
I love them.
I don't hate them enough to go out and vandalize them, but they do annoy me and they scare me. But some people, you'll see video from security cameras of people knocking over entire rows of them. I saw someone had taken one and thrown it into a pit where a building burned down on the crossroads. If people know where I'm talking about, they're arrests from Grinders. If you go over to that old apartment complex that has just had a cage around it forever, I was looking in there one day just kind of trying to see what stuff had fallen down in there. There's a scooter that someone just, I guess, decided to throw over the fence into the pit there. Well, There was a story about a month ago of a girl in San Diego who rented a scooter, and I don't know what company it was, so I don't want to blaspheme anyone or perjure, but she says that she got on the scooter. It's obviously very hilly in San Diego, and as she was going down the hill, she said she got closer to an intersection. She knew she needed to start to slow down, and she says when she went to use the brakes, they didn't work. Like, not like they weren't good enough. She was saying there were no brakes.
Okay.
I couldn't stop, so I fell off, and I hurt my face. And when she was on the news at the time, she wouldn't even show her face. She's like, I'm going to have permanent scars. I don't want to show my face right now, but she showed the cuts on her hands and on other parts of her body.
Okay.
She claims she was hurt really badly.
Extremely mad. I don't even know how much this hospital bill is going to be. Like, my face is probably going to be scarred for the rest of my life.
She says she hopped on a bird scooter about halfway up this steep hill in Ocean Beach Monday night and started heading downhill.
Right around where that white car is, like right around then is like when I saw that there were cars coming, I had to slow down. So that was the first time where I tried to apply the brake and literally nothing was happening.
Okay, so when I saw that story originally, first of all, I didn't think it was worth talking about at the time, but I also thought, that's the problem they're going to have is maintenance. Maybe the battery works, but who's going out there to check to see if the brakes still work? Are they going to be liable for that stuff? Whatever. But now there's a new story that makes me change my opinion on that story from a month ago. Because a man in Florida has been sneaking around neighborhoods, tampering with electric scooters that are parked on the street and disabling the brakes. Fort Lauderdale police posted this surveillance video. You can watch it. There's no audio, but you can see this guy picking up this scooter, and he's tampering with it. He slaps a white sticker on the QR code, so I guess that way people can't use it, and then he cuts the brake lines, making it impossible to use. So even if you could turn the thing on or get to the QR code under that sticker, you'd have no brakes. Police say that more than 140 scooters have been disabled and vandalized in a similar way in the southeast part of Fort Lauderdale since April 5th. Officers had already homed in on a 59-year-old guy, this Randall Williams, as a possible suspect.
Williams?
And they think he's probably
Quit cutting them scooter brakes, Randall.
Responsible for the majority of the acts of vandalisms that happened within this little neighborhood. But man, this guy, he's walking around like in his Tevas at nighttime. He picks up these scooters. He's got to know that there's cameras just about everywhere now when you're in the city. People have Ring doorbells. They have surveillance video cams. And I don't know what this guy's thing is. But I think it's safe to assume, you probably assume, like me, that he hates the scooters, right?
Sure.
Isn't that what it is? It doesn't sound like he's trying to hurt anyone, or he wouldn't be slapping stickers over the QR codes. So he doesn't want people to get on there and then fall and hurt themselves. He just wants to break the scooters, is what it sounds like. And you can't steal them because I got tracking devices on it.
Right.
So he's going around, but this seems like a lot of work. I mean, look at these scooters just sitting in a driveway, and then he sees them, he comes up, he slaps a sticker, and then he starts tampering with this thing. He picks it up, he takes it apart, and disables the brakes on them.
Why, though? Just because he wants to hurt people?
No, I don't. What I'm saying is I don't think he wants to hurt people because he's putting stickers over the QR code so you can't rent it, and then he's breaking the brakes. It's like
but that doesn't make any sense.
So I think instead of stealing them...
All right, explain to me, because I'm
Let's
dumb.
say you hate the scooters.
Okay,
and you say,
yes.
I want these things out of here. What are your options? Well, you could do like somebody did in the Crossroads and throw it into a pit full of, mud, I suppose, that people can't get to. You could try and steal it, but you're going to get caught because it's got the thing on it. You can kick them over, which a lot of people have been doing. When there's a line of them, people that don't like them, they come up and kick them over. They push them out into the street or something. And I guess they think, hopefully I won't get in trouble for that, even though there's probably cameras around somewhere. But this guy decides, I'm going to be meticulous about this. I'm going to go around, slap the sticker on the QR code, so now you can't rent it. You could if you pull the sticker off, but I'm going to try and prevent you from renting it, or at least make it more difficult. Then I'm going to disable the brakes so that this scooter's useless to the company now. Basically, I'm guessing his thing is I'm going to make it hard for them to have scooters around here. Maybe they'll say, you know what, we're going to give up on leaving scooters in this part of, where was he, Fort Lauderdale? In Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
You guys can't have the scooters because someone keeps disabling the brake lines and covering up the QR codes. We don't know who it is, so you guys don't get scooters, and then he's happy because he doesn't want the scooters. That's my guess. He's someone who hates the scooters, but he doesn't want to hurt people.
I don't get it, man. Why do people hate the scooters so much?
Man, they are everywhere.
Who cares?
Everywhere. They like drop them in the sidewalk in your yard. It's just laying there in your yard, and it's like, just someone come get it. I don't know. And when there's like on the plaza and stuff, there'll be piles of them where there's like 20 scooters in one corner taking up an entire thing, blocking the handicap ramp and everything, just all sitting there. That's not really what bothers me the most, though. I could live with all that because people love them. What bothers me is the fear of hitting someone. Just a lot of drunk people at night riding them around, and the city told them to ride them on the streets, which I get it. I don't know where else you're going to ride them.
Right.
But they're hard to see, and you come up over a hill, and suddenly there's two scooters going 8 miles an hour, and you were doing 35, and whoa! It was two drunk guys in the middle, and they have the right to do it. It just makes me scared. Now, this story, this guy won a big lawsuit. I didn't know that you could do this. Maybe you've heard of this. I had never heard of this. But in some states, when you get divorced, you are allowed to sue for alienation of affections. That's the quote. Alienations of affections. Now, that claim exists in several states. Not a bunch, but in a handful of states across the country, according to these court documents. Alienation of affections is a valid reason to bring up a lawsuit in certain states. So if you say, my wife cheated on me, and I took our vows seriously, and I never cheated on her, and that man that she cheated on me with, that really broke me, and so she broke this alienation of affections clause or whatever, so I'm going to sue. So this guy sued. He says his divorce...
His wife or the mistress, sir?
He sued her lover.
Okay.
Because the headline says North Carolina man wins this lawsuit after suing his wife's lover. So he says that this divorce was almost unbearable, like he didn't want the divorce, and found out about these alienation of affection laws, which are their homewrecker laws. That's what people used to call them. And it allows the spouse to sue another person for purposefully interfering with the material relationship. So in certain states, you can sue for that. North Carolina happens to be one of them. He won a lot of money.
I filed the case because I feel it's very important that people understand that the sanctity of marriage is important, especially in this day and age when people question everyone's morals, people question everyone's viability as a person, and the state backed me up on it.
The state definitely backed him up on it. He won $750,000.
Ridiculous.
$750,000. It's 2019, and some judge somewhere took this old homewrecker law, looked at it, and said, even if the judge was like, look, this law is still on the books for whatever reason. We're one of the handful of states that still has it. So you know what? Okay, you say, I'm fine. He owes you $5. I don't know. Because the law says it, he did clearly break this law that shouldn't be on the books, but it's here. So fine, you win, but I think you get $5 or an Xbox or something. I don't know. Go home and cry about it. But $750,000, he'd been with his wife for 12 years, and when she came to him and said that she was thinking about getting a separation, they started going to marriage counseling or whatever we call it. But he says something felt off, so he hires this PI to investigate her and see what's going on.
But that's such an crazy.
Another man.
So I'd have to be in the courtroom. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But not only is it ridiculous, how do you prove it? How do you prove it at all?
That the other person was
the one who took away the affection. Maybe the affection went away 2 years ago, and it was your fault.
Alienation of affection.
Maybe you alienated the affection yourself 2 years ago, which then sent her to find affection somewhere else.
Yeah, that should have been their defense. There was no affection anymore.
Right, there was no affection. You didn't alienate any of it because you're an asshole.
You never showed me affection. Right. That should have been
You're the
their
worst.
Defense.
There was no affection.
Well, he blamed the other guy for alienating his wife from him, according to these court records, and the judge ruled in his favor. Quote, he was a colleague of hers from work. He ate dinner with us several times. We spent time together. I thought this was a friend. Oh, man, I've been there. I have been there. You got your girlfriend with you. A guy comes around. You think
here's the other thing, and the text line is right.
They end up together.
And here's the other thing, and text line, you're right. It's nobody's business but hers.
Right? Yes.
And I know I say, God damn it, white women a lot, and I know that I've struck back and talked back to some of these things that drive me crazy with where we are in 2019. But women aren't property.
Right.
You don't get to own their affection. You own their affection for as long as they deem it appropriate to give it to you.
Right.
And then they stop giving you affection and give it to someone else. It's their affection.
Yes.
It's no one else's. You don't own them or their emotions.
And
how someone could say this guy's it's her affection.
Yeah.
No one takes affection. It's not like this guy took a boat This guy took a ring. They're her emotions. They are owned by her and her alone.
And
you
she can't help her feelings.
They're hers.
They're her feelings.
Even if she can help, it doesn't matter. They're hers.
Yeah, like what?
You don't get to tell her what to do with her goddamn emotions. You're trying to tell her what to do with her uterus. The least you could do is let her have her own goddamn emotions.
Could you sue? I want to know what this judge would say if I said we didn't even get divorced. I just think she's flirting with this guy at work. And no, we're still together. No, Judge. No, Your Honor, we're still together. But I feel like she's been flirting with this guy at work, and that's an alienation of affection, even though we're still together. And she says she still loves me. I can tell she's been flirting with this guy at work.
Oh.
Is that an alienation of like? I want to know what that judge says about that. It's 2019.
Right. Women own their emotions.
So her attorney
and men own their emotions, and you're allowed to do whatever you want to do.
Her attorney said that she's argued at least 30 alienation of affection cases during her 31-year career. She has 5 cases of the sort open right now. Right now. She says it's very prevalent. To have a chance at winning the lawsuit, a cheated-on spouse should be able to show the couple was happy before the affair and a lover came between them. So in other words, third party got in the way of a relationship that was in good standing and was going well, and this third-party person caused the downfall. So I guess there does have to be a downfall. They said the tort began from an old English law when women were viewed as property. Exactly like you said. In the same way that a man could sue for theft of a horse, he could sue for theft of a wife, and now any spouse can sue regardless of their gender or their partner. So, she could have sued him if he cheated on her, obviously. But, yeah, the attorney said in a lot of the cases it's not even about money. The idea is keeping the marriage sanctified and keeping the family together. But people still make some serious bank taking their exes to court. It says
that's ridiculous.
In 2010, she says one of her clients received a verdict of $5.9 million. $5.9 million. Last year, a judge ordered a guy to pay $8.8 million to a husband whose wife had been seeing a man for more than a year. And most of that money that was awarded was consisted of punitive damages, which were supposed to penalize this guy, the defendant. But $2.2 million were supposed to be like tangible.
God damn it, text line. Yes, he sued the man.
Yeah.
The man, there was an alienation of affection. It's her affection that went from him to another man. It's her affection. She can give it to whoever the hell she wants to, whenever she wants to, because she's an individual. And you can give your affection to anyone you want to, whenever you want to, as a man, a woman, whatever you want to call yourself, to whoever you want to, whenever you want to. And the legal system shouldn't make you not do it.
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ, it's not that hard, you idiots.
And how in the hell is this still a thing?
That is a good
States?
question. You may be able to sue me for theft of a mother.
Jesus. Well, I guess it'd been a while. This says, as of 2006...
He stole my mom!
As of 2016, Hawaii, North Carolina, which is where this guy was, Mississippi, New Mexico, South Dakota, and Utah. Those are the states. So Kansas and Missouri, you can't do this. Hawaii, North Carolina, Mississippi, New Mexico, South Dakota, Utah. Guys, gals, get rid of this.
You can deem it inappropriate. You can say you don't like it. You can say they're going to hell. You can say whatever you want, but you can't take them to court.
No, the marriage is ceremonial. It could be religiously ceremonial.
And maybe it means something different to you. Who cares?
But legally, it just makes
But legally, that woman has every right to share her affections with whoever she wants. You know why? Because they're hers.
Yeah, legally, it just makes you
Quit
family.
treating her
That's
like
it.
a horse.
Which is exactly where this law came from.
Exactly what you're doing.
It's where the law came from. All right, and then finally, a professor is in trouble because he says women are useless. Did you see this? The question about this story is, are the girls who were upset by this and the girl who brought this story to national attention, is she a social justice warrior or is she justified? This is, again, in North Carolina, at North Carolina State University.
Starting to get angry at North Carolina. I have a heart attack.
So there is a professor there who's been suspended by that university, and they've launched an investigation because the students said that while they were in class, the professor asked the girl this girl if she could pull out her homework or paper or whatever. I'll let her tell it.
Huck says Professor Davis called on a female student in the class, and when she didn't have the answers to his questions about an assignment, things escalated.
You're 20 years old and you forgot to bring this assignment in. Were you dropped on the head as a child? Do you have memory problems?
Next, she says the professor selected another student to answer a question, and she too didn't have the answer.
She didn't have the paper either, and before he could even begin berating her or anything, she just straight up said, I have memory problems too. And that kind of made everyone laugh, but he kind of kept going, and he was just I guess the women in this class are useless, maybe I should call on a man. And as soon as the words women are useless came out of his mouth, that's when I started talking.
Oh, that's when she started talking.
I couldn't understand it through the rage in my head.
Okay, what happened? Professor says, hey, whatever her name is, I think they say in this
Karen?
story, but whatever. I don't know if she's a Karen.
Susan?
Yet. I don't
Sharon?
know. I don't know. I think it says that her name's...
it was one of those.
Maria.
Maria.
Okay,
go on.
So, Maria, please pull out your homework, whatever the hell it is. Grab this paper. She says, I don't have it. And he says, oh, okay, and says something derogatory about, you must have had some sort of memory problems or whatever because you're supposed to have this paper and you don't. So he calls on another girl. Now, when he calls on the second girl, she also doesn't have the paper, so she immediately makes fun of herself using some of the derogatory stuff he just said about having memory problems. You must have memory problems. So she says, I guess I have memory problems too, or I do have memory problems too. Then they claim that he says, well, I guess women are useless, okay? I should call on a guy because the women are useless. So after...
When he calls on a guy, does the guy have it?
Well, I don't know about that part because people
I'm just curious.
Apparently people got upset. And then according to these students, he says... And I think he's saying this was a joke, but he says, look, because he said women are useless. He says, of course women aren't useless because women are important for our species to reproduce. They're saying that that's what he said.
Okay.
As the coup de grace on his little joke there. Of course you're not useless. You
have to make babies.
We need you to reproduce. Right. So she says...
He's a professor, not me.
She says this is not okay. And the students filmed a little bit of it on their phone. And now the... university has suspended him and they are investigating. Well, I don't know. Is this a SJW instance, a Karen instance, or is this just a valid, get with the times? I think this is a get with the times.
Yeah, I think she's valid.
You can't joke around like that. Things change. Maybe you could joke around like that 40 years ago.
I don't even think you could, though.
Yeah, but...
Given the professional setting of you being a professor, I don't think you'd be able to say women are... ask two women for their homework, they both don't turn it in, so then you just say women are useless. Yeah. I think, clearly now it's going to get more attention, but inappropriate and at least as long as I've been around.
So there was a teacher at my high school, a male teacher, and the story was, I know what happened in the classroom, but he was teaching math, and he called on... No, he said, does anyone have any questions? And a girl who happened to be a really good friend of mine asked a question. And he responded, the teacher responded with something like, I asked if people had any questions, not if there were any dumbasses in the class. Okay?
Okay.
Now, there were some rumors that he actually used the R word instead of dumbasses.
Okay.
But it was one of those things. Whatever it was unnecessary.
Right.
But this was before people were filming everything. Our phones were just, had Snake on it, and that was about it. You could call people. So she tells on him, and there were plenty of witnesses who corroborated it. So they fired him from that teaching position, and he just became a coach, an athletic coach. I actually had this guy as a coach later. I'd never had him before. But once they made him a coach, I had him in PE, and I loved this guy. But he was one of these guys who called us dumbasses. But it was in like a... Oh, you dumbass, get you, I remember it was Spirit Day one day in PE, and in PE, you got to get into your PE clothes. You change into your PE shorts and your T-shirt, put your clothes in your locker, you come out. Well, this guy came out, and he had changed into his PE clothes, except for he was still wearing slippers, because it was Spirit Day or whatever, and people were wearing pajamas or something. I don't know. I never participated in that. But he was wearing slippers. The coach called him some very derogatory things, and told him to get back to the locker room and come back with his GD shoes and whatever. He cussed and stuff. I think, as far as I know, everyone in my class, we really liked him.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
and he would
right.
also do the thing where, like, all right, we raised money. We had a disabled girl at school who was severely disabled, and she didn't have a lot of money. Her family spent all their money that they did have on medical bills, and they wanted to get her a Letterman's jacket and some stuff for graduation. So they asked the boys' PE class, for some reason, specifically first, hey, I guess it was his idea, this teacher's idea, who had been dismissed from teaching for calling a girl whatever he called her. But he said, hey, you guys, we got this girl. We're trying to raise some money. You know, if you guys, this is while we're getting dressed in the locker room. So
Right.
we all gave him cash, like whatever cash we had in our wallets, we gave to him. And so the next day in class, he sat us down and he said, listen, I've heard people talk so much trash on this generation. I've heard people at this school talk about how, you know, done for we are because kids are so spoiled and blah, 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 and they don't have empathy. He was like, I want you guys to know, I will fight to defend you anytime, any day. I've seen your character. Here's how much money we raised for this girl. You know, we're going to buy her this Letterman's jacket. We're going to buy her
Right.
this. And he's like, you're good people and don't let people tell you otherwise. Now
get out of my face, you arse.
Exactly. It was followed by that. But
Right.
I have to admit, and I understand times change.
Yes.
And they should change. And I'm all for it. At the time, I liked it. Because what was really great is when he would call on me. You know, he'd say, Reed, I want you to lead these guys, get them over there. I'm like,
Right.
hell yeah. It meant something because it's like,
Right.
oh, man. Not
I
only
get
is
it.
he not yelling at me,
I get it.
but I don't think you can do that anymore. I don't think you should. I don't think that's a thing that should happen anymore. I don't know that it should have been happening in 1999.
I think it depends on where you are
Yeah.
in the situation. It's probably not the situation at college.
Isn't that what this kind of felt like? What the story I told? This teacher said something. He's like, oh, I guess the women are useless. I'm kidding. I know you're not useless. We need you to reproduce. Like, he's making a really crude, sexist joke.
I think there's a place, there's a time and a place for that,
Yeah.
and that's not it.
I agree.
I still think you can say it. I just got an update on my phone, and maybe people get mad at me, but the quarterback from LSU was talking about how he transferred from Ohio State and what it was like being a quarterback at Ohio State. And he said, oh, the coach at Ohio State used to tell me all the time I throw like a girl.
And
You
people
throw like a girl. Nobody was like, he said you throw like a girl, right?
Right.
Nobody's doing that because it's just there's a time and a place for that, and I don't think anybody's overly upset at the coach of Ohio State for saying you throw like a girl. But to me, that's okay. There's a time and a place. Football practice, football coach, things happen. Singling out two women at school for not having their homework and saying women are worthless and they're only good for reproducing, that's different. It has a whole different feel to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I think if there's enough video that shows that he did this, and I don't know, he may admit that he did this, then, I don't know what kind of trouble you get into for that, but certainly the suspension, I think, while investigating is fine. And I think it's important for us to remind the 7 or 8 people that are listening our stance. We don't like the idea of shutting down speech. The social justice warriors who say, we don't want to hear what you have to say, you're not allowed to speak. We disagree with that. But I do think that the idea of social justice warriors is overblown. I think, especially from the right, but I think even some people left of center like us believe that this is this huge epidemic that's everywhere, that everyone's a social justice warrior, when I think most people still understand when a joke is a joke. And I was watching...
well, but even the guy who did the Joker movie tweeted the other day, and then people got on him again.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want to make those movies anymore. I'm going to do more dramatic movies because these movies, they don't play anymore.
Yeah.
If I were to make these movies now, I'd have 30,000 people tweeting at me. I'm not up for it, right? So that's what he says.
Yeah.
And then 30,000 people tweet at him and call him an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if what that teacher had said was actually a joke, it would have to be worded totally differently. It would have had to, the intent would have had to have been different. Everything. Then I think there's about 100% chance that this wouldn't be a story.
I mean, right. It depends on how we're reading it.
What he did offended people, and I think...
Because it sounds a lot worse when you read it.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was like, please, and they were laughing, there was laughing back and forth, and there was some ribbing, then of course situational context would change it.
Yes.
And intent would change it. But the way that I read it right now,
yeah.
it's,
Yeah. I saw someone making the point of, we talk about cancel culture. Everything the last 9, 12, I don't know, maybe, 24 months.
No, you're right. Some of the text line is saying, and there's quite a few of them have said this, what if it was a female teacher and male students?
Yeah. I think she would be in trouble.
Boy, I don't think so.
Because the guys wouldn't be as offended, or...
And I think it would be like, you know what, toughen up, boys. It's been like this forever.
Let's call on a woman because the men here men are useless. They don't do their homework. If a female professor said it, if a guy didn't like it, I think the university would say, yeah, you can't say that.
Boy, I think you're wrong.
I think the odds of a guy...
I think that even being a story, I think that would be a joke and a laugh, and everyone would laugh at it, and they would say, you're right. Men are worthless. They're trash.
Yeah, but there's a reason.
There's no way.
But there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that.
Okay, but I'm just saying there's no way. That statement comes from a female professor's mouth and says, excuse me, Steve, you have your homework? He's like, oh, man, I do not have my homework. And she's like, man, you guys, you don't remember anything, do you? You can't remember anniversaries or birthdays. You just got memory problems, don't you?
Just watch them.
How about you, Mike? And then Mike's like, oh, boy, I must have some memory problems, too. You know what? Goddamn, man. Men are worthless.
Yeah.
And then, no, of course I don't mean you're worthless. I mean, we need you to help make us babies.
Yeah.
That does not get this type of scrutiny right now. There's no way. I'm not, maybe it shouldn't, but it certainly doesn't. It certainly doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely understand what you're saying. I'm not positive that it wouldn't be a story. That it couldn't be a story. In 2019. You know, I don't know. But you
could turn up on any social media right now and look at any woman saying, I bet you could pull out almost any, not any, but an abundance of tweets or mentions or whatever from women saying men are trash.
Right, but a professor.
Men are trash. All men are trash. Men are trash. All men are trash. Go ahead and do that right now on your Twitter. Just tweet, all women are trash real quick.
I understand what you're saying, but a female professor, if they really thought, man, this woman does not like dudes, like she is sexist. If they thought that, and then she said, we'll call someone else, men are useless. I think you can't say that. I think you get in trouble for that.
I think you're wrong.
I disagree. Agree to disagree. I think if you really thought that woman was sexist and she was like, oh, men, she was one of those women you're talking about.
I can hear it right now. You just did it.
Yeah.
If you think that a woman, I mean, we can just disagree. It's fine. And people can listen to it. But if she has two guys and then at the end of that, my God, men are worthless. Cheryl, Carrie, whatever. Do you have your homework? Yes, of course you do. Men are worthless.
And then someone says, oh, you really think men are worthless? And then she says, no, of course not.
Of course I don't.
We need you to reproduce.
Exactly.
I think I'd be pissed if that was my professor. I'd say, this woman is sexist. And
that story ain't going anywhere, hotshot.
Okay.
Nowhere.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens with this. I mean, actually, maybe we won't. We'll probably never hear about it again because I'm sure they'll finish their investigation, and I don't know if he'll end up being suspended or not. I probably should have ended on the guy winning $750,000 from suing his wife's lover because that is certainly the craziest thing I saw today. I mean, other than Trump talking to the press, that's always the craziest. But this guy winning $750,000 from his wife's lover. And by the way, back to that story real quick before we're done. That guy has to start paying him money? Like, how does that work?
I can imagine.
When you get sued for that much, you can say, right, those things are usually...
I get to give you my wife and you give me money.
But the court knows.
What a deal.
The court knows.
I just traded my wife to you for $750,000.
$750,000.
I'll take it.
Done deal.
I'll take it.
No time to negotiate.
The Church of Lazlo. 96.5 The Buzz.
This is, I love when I see articles like this because I know your stance on a lot of these, and we've talked about similar things before. Okay. They call this specifically micro-cheating. Do you know what micro-cheating is?
I mean,
you can guess, right?
Guess, right?
Yeah. So they want to know, do you think these examples of micro-cheating are cheating?
Shut up, man.
No, hold on. I just got to say, I know that in the past, you told me when I was heartbroken over my high school girlfriend because I felt we were together, but I felt like something was wrong. And I told you, I came to her and I said, it feels like something's off. And she's like, well, there's nothing off. Too bad. And you told me, hey, man, look, her job in that situation is to try and fix it. If she doesn't try and fix that, when you think that something's wrong, she does nothing.
Right, of course.
Then that's something is wrong.
There is something wrong.
It doesn't mean she's cheating. It just means there is something wrong. You've come to her. You said you're anxious, whatever.
She says, ease your worries.
Right. And so if she's not...
And if she's not or if she can't...
You're in trouble.
Then whatever.
You're in trouble. Yeah. So, I don't know if that counts as a form of micro-cheating because it's just... That's like suspicion, and I'm suspicious that there's something wrong or you're feeling a certain way.
But she's not cheating.
Right. Turns out she was, but
she was cheating.
Yeah, she was cheating. It turns out, but
there was nothing micro about it.
No, there wasn't. But before I knew for certain,
you, it was macro.
Before I knew for certain, you still said that it was bad. Okay, so here's some examples. Sexting someone else, but never having any physical contact with them. Is that cheating?
No.
Like sending naked pics to one another?
No, it can be inappropriate. It can be worthy of a breakup or a divorce, but it's not cheating.
Okay. So then I can see where you're going to stand on all of these. 91% of people said it's cheating.
Yeah, well.
Confiding in someone that you're attracted to instead of your significant other. So maybe you haven't hit on this person and you haven't shown any, but you confide in them.
The first one, I'll hear your argument. Okay, maybe it is.
Sexting thing?
Whatever. But no. Confiding in someone, like I've said before, you should confide in someone else.
I don't know why it says specifically confiding in someone you're attracted to instead of your significant other.
Confiding what to them? That I'm attracted to them?
No, I think you're just telling them this. It doesn't get very specific.
Like my life isn't great and these are things going on in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'd rather you confide in someone at work than confide with me at home.
Or maybe even you're talking to this person about, I'm just having troubles with my relationship right now. And
yeah, fine.
Okay.
Well, who else am I going to tell? I can't tell you.
Right.
I'm just using you as my girlfriend right now.
Right.
If we were having troubles, I wouldn't be like, damn.
You wouldn't be like, let's talk about it?
Maybe, but I wouldn't come home and be like, man,
either.
I'm really having relationship troubles.
Right.
Hey, you are a real bitch.
You're looking for advice.
Need someone else to talk to.
Yeah, you're looking for advice. And so you're attracted to the other person. As long as you're not acting on that, I don't think that's cheating at all.
Of course not.
25%.
I'm attracted to every other person.
25% said it's cheating. Staying in touch with an ex.
No, I don't suggest it.
Yeah.
I think it just causes problems for you.
Me too.
But it's not cheating.
Okay. 14% said it's cheating. So most people are with you on that one. I wonder if the people who said it's not cheating would agree, though, that it's probably not the best idea. It's weird, though, because younger people have a different...
It's not the best idea for you. It doesn't matter what your significant other does, but it's not the best idea for you. Just because it's hard to move on.
You're the one who always said, your ex is dead, dead people don't call, blah, blah, blah.
If you're going to move on, you got to move on.
Yes. What's next? That was staying in touch with your ex. Having a work wife or work husband, which doesn't have to be even necessarily a flirtatious thing. People say, oh, that's my work wife, that's my work husband. It's just someone generally of the opposite sex that you work...
Didn't you just text someone you had a work wife?
Who? Snowcone? Did you?
Yeah, Jordan's my work wife, but she's gay, so
right.
That's fine, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how that works.
You're gay, too, so maybe it matches up.
Yeah.
Causes some sort of split in the time-space... Continuum? Maybe?
Okay, yeah, I don't think that the work husband, work wife thing's cheating. I agree with that. They say 19% said it is cheating. 31% said it's fine. And the other 50% said it's not cheating, but they'd feel weird about it. I don't know if they really... I think different people have different definitions of what a work wife or work husband is. It doesn't mean... You don't have to be attracted to them, like I said. And you can be attracted to them, but I thought a work wife or a work husband was just someone you had to work with a lot to make your job work. And so you had to have this relationship.
And they help you out. They cover for you.
The most
cover
prominent
for
relationship. Yeah, exactly.
You're a team.
You're loyal to one another. All right, number 4 on the sending a heart kiss or a winking, flirty emoji to someone.
That's not cheating.
Is that cheating?
It's ridiculous.
I think that's possibly the most ridiculous thing on here. 8% of people said it's okay. Okay.
Only 8%?
49% said it's cheating. And another 43% would at least be concerned. So half of the people, almost,
I'm
said
almost
it's
in the
cheating.
camp of it's not cheating if you use a condom. Like, you know what? I can be swayed to that.
Well, then we can
I
skip
can be
the
swayed
rest
to
of
that.
these.
I'll hear your argument on that. A lot more than I'll hear your argument that sending a winky emoji is straight blasphemy and cheating.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, but what if it is...
What's more ridiculous? What if equally ridiculous?
I think it's ridiculous, but what if it is someone at work that's kind of attractive, whatever, and they send you something, a text like, okay, we got this lunch meeting, I'll see you at 1, and you say, okay, and you send back a winking kissy face. That's certainly inappropriate for work, but it's not cheating. You know what I mean?
And maybe at work they do that.
It's weird
There's
behavior.
There's plenty of people who send me emails or texts and say, like, in this industry, you say, thanks so much, man, love you.
Yeah, there'd have to be
and
something.
it could be girls who send it.
There'd have to be something else.
I'm not like, oh, she really loves me. I should text her back.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
It has to be specific to the situation. I don't think an emoji on its own, because it could just be you having fun, and that's the kind of relationship you have. That's
Saying thank you,
really
it's
not
fine.
flirtation. All right, meeting up with someone and claiming it's work related when it isn't. Well, that seems like yes to me.
That's not cheating.
Meeting up with someone claiming it's
lying.
work related, yeah. But you're going to meet someone that you're attracted to or whatever, and so you tell your significant other that it's work related. I got to go do some work stuff. But the truth is, you just want to go.
But do they work?
Flirt with this coworker. I thought that, judging by the way that they wrote this, that you do work with them. But I guess you don't have to. If you just say, if this question is asking if it's okay to say, "Hey, I'm meeting up with someone for work," and then you go to a hotel with someone, well, then yes, that's cheating.
Well, if you have sex with them.
Right, if you have sex with them. But
I don't think they're saying
it's
that.
certainly lying. Right, they're saying meeting up with someone and claiming that it's work-related when it isn't. I assume they're talking about someone you work with. Yeah, that's just lying. Again, like you said, it could be worthy of even a breakup.
Sure.
Or discussion. You're lying, but you didn't cheat.
No, you
right?
didn't cheat.
Well, I mean, we talked about that guy earlier in headlines who won almost $1 million or whatever for cheating. I don't think any judge would say that this is cheating. Like if she said, well, I'm suing that girl that he works with because he went up to work when he didn't need to and they hung out in the studio. Did they do anything? No, but they talked and they hung out and they were clearly flirting. No, that's not cheating.
And I know I'm getting texts like, yes, fine. People are saying there's emotional cheating and all this other stuff. I don't buy into that. But if you have to put a descriptor in front of cheating, then it's not cheating.
Yeah.
Then it's not cheating. If you have to say, well, it's emotional cheating, well, then it's not cheating. If I say, my boyfriend cheated on me, you know what happened.
He had sex
with someone. Yeah. If I have to say, and then they say, oh my God, who did he have sex with? And I say, no, he emotionally cheated on me. Well, that's not cheating. It's emotionally cheating.
Yeah, you're right. If you just drop all these
everything else, everybody...
Just by saying micro-cheating, like this whole list is examples of micro-cheating. I guess
which is
kind of
examples of not cheating. It's micro-cheating.
Yeah. All right. Deleting apps like Tinder from your phone, but not deleting your account.
That's what Snowcone does.
Is that what you do, Snowcone?
Yeah, he never...
That's not what I do. Stop it.
Wait, you never deleted your profile?
I have deleted my account. I did.
Oh, you deleted the app?
No. This was like 2 years ago when I deleted my account. That's not what happened at all.
Oh, you're talking about back when you were single. You would start dating someone, delete the app, but then when you guys broke up, you still had your...
app. I deleted the app. I didn't realize you had to delete your profile. And manually delete the account.
It's like deleting the Facebook app from your phone. You still have a Facebook account.
Right. But when it happened, I actually went in and deleted my account, and that was like years ago.
Okay. And then the number one thing on here, I don't know why, there's no particular reason for this order, but following an ex on social media. 3% of people said that's cheating.
I actually can't do it.
I don't like it. Yeah, I'm not allowed to.
I've been blocked.
Yeah, me too. Not by my ex, but only 3% of people said that it's... only 3% of people said that it's cheating. Yeah, I don't know why they say only. Like, that's definitely not cheating. Imagine if you said, I found out he cheated on me. Like, oh my God, honey, let's meet up. Let's talk about it. What happened? You say, well, I got on his Facebook and found out that he was still friends with his ex-girlfriend on Facebook. And that's it. Did he like her pictures? Nope. Did he say something to her? Not that I've seen, but he's still friends with her on Facebook.
Well, honey, did you guys see that Kylie Jenner? What happened with her?
Oh, yeah, that picture that she posted?
Well, she broke up, or I guess her and Travis Scott are taking a break, and then last night she goes to see Tyga, who is her ex.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
And she posted that picture, and she's...
I didn't see the picture.
Oh, yeah.
Boy.
Following an ex on social media. But again... While I don't think that's cheating, and the 3% of people said it is, I'd love to talk to them. But
I would not.
I wouldn't want to be friends with them, but I'd love to hear their explanation.
I don't want to be in the same room with them.
But I do think, this goes back to your earlier thing, I do think it's a bad idea to follow your ex on social media.
Unless you just don't really look at it.
Yeah.
Because then there is a part of it where if you just don't look at it, but you don't block them.
Yeah.
And you don't unfollow them, there is a little sense of dignity which goes along with, I don't care enough to block you.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't care enough to unfollow you. Whatever you're doing means it doesn't matter.
But I will unfollow friends' significant others when they break up. You know, just be like, all right, I'm not going to follow her anymore because my friend and her broke up.
I try to just not do anything just because I don't want to start a war.
Yeah.
And I want to be a part of it. And if you break up with someone, or then what if you get back together and then I'm the asshole? I
think you're doing the right thing. You're allowed to be loyal to your friend and say, this is,
once they get
this
back
person's
together,
my friend.
It's going to be like, oh, he unfollowed me when we broke. I don't want to hear it. So I just, whatever.
I do think, though, that this is a good time, because of several of those examples, to discuss the she's dead to you, he's dead to you way of thinking. Because I think it's a millennial thing that you see it in movies, you hear people talk about it, and your generation, Gen X, was very different about it. This is not just a Lazlo thing. It's a generational thing where, for some reason, millennials, and especially younger millennials, who are now, late 20s, early 30s, but they say, no, you can be friends with your ex. You can hang out with your ex. I talked to my ex in front of my current significant other, whatever. We're all friends. No, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Follow Gen X's advice on that one. Don't do that. It's not going to work.
They're dead to you.
They're dead to you. And the other person...
You have to move on with your life with a clear head. And if you don't move on with your life with a clear head, I know people are going to text in, I'm friends with my ex and we hang out all the time. Well, great, but it's not going to end well. I'm telling you right now. You can believe me or not, but it's a bad... not only is it bad for you, if it's not horrible for you, it's bad for them, because that means that they still think there's a chance that you're going to get back together.
Right.
And then... because you're not doing them any favors by pretending like you can still be friends by hanging out with them once a month and them telling you about their life. So even if it's fine for you, it's not fine for them. You have to, if you're the person who's in charge of that, and we all know who it is, male or female, or male or male, doesn't matter, but there's someone who's moved on in a relationship and someone who hasn't.
Yes.
And so if you're the one who has, then do the right thing and just quit talking to her.
But see, I did the total she's dead to me, and my ex and I didn't dislike each other at all. Like there was
can't do it.
There was no fighting, no arguing. There was really, like I say, we weren't mad at one another or anything. So I still wanted to follow Lazlo and Gen X's, they're dead to you thing. So that's what I did. And you even helped me with the Facebook thing where it searches for her face and photos and gets rid of everything. Unfollow her on everything, all that stuff. And occasionally my friends will say something like, so I saw, your ex is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I don't care that you see that. I totally get that. I'm fine with that. But you don't have to tell me about it. Just don't tell me about it. And you can be nice to her or whatever, and that's totally fine. But I don't need updates.
No.
I don't need updates because until you just said that, it's been 7 days or whatever since I thought about it at all. And that is the advantage and what comes with truly following through on the they're dead to you campaign. It
with
works.
A clear head.
Yes, it works.
You have to do it that way. You have to do it that way with everything.
I'm telling you, people, it works so well. I lived with someone for over a decade, okay, and we were married and everything. This dead to you thing works so well that sometimes someone will say something like, hey, did you see she did this? And I go, oh, my God. I forgot that we were married.
Yes, exactly.
Man, I haven't thought about her in a long time.
Right.
So it works. I suggest it. I recommend it. But I think of all the things on the micro-cheating list that are probably going to get you broken up with the quickest because they're still not cheating.
Sending pics.
Yeah, don't be doing that.
Just don't do it anyway.
Don't do it anyway, but, millennials say that's how we communicate. I watched Euphoria. Remember at the beginning, they're like, and all you old people saying, well, why don't put it out there and blah, blah, blah. You have no idea because you have to put it out there, and that's how it works now. And okay, I don't want to sound like Whoopi Goldberg or whatever, but I'm saying if you're in a relationship with someone and you want that relationship to work.
Just don't send it. Just don't send one.
I feel like that we should be okay with
ladies,
that.
Ladies, you can send whatever you want.
Yes, because no one wants that.
Nobody wants that, and stop it.
Yes, agreed. Have you?
And yours isn't special.
No.
Send a picture of someone else's if you're going to do it.
Imagine what you're doing, too. They got to know that you took the time to get the right light and you took multiple pictures. And who do you think you are? What are you doing? Ugh, dude. We know that you tried multiple times to get the right angle. And
just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. But bottom line is, Lazlo says micro-cheating is never cheating, but it could potentially be grounds for breakup. Yes.
A lot of things can be grounds for a breakup, but micro-cheating isn't cheating.
Fair enough.
You know that.
Yeah, I agree. The texting someone else is the closest, but it's not cheating. It's not cheating.
It's not cheating. It's texting
just
someone else.
Inappropriate. Yes, it's inappropriate.
It's on its way to cheating.
Yes, you are on your way.
If you guys are sending each other naked photos, you're going to eventually have sex, I would assume.
Yes, agreed.
So it's on its way to cheating, but you haven't cheated yet.
No.
It's one step away.
And I think the dumbest thing on the list was the confiding in someone else.
Yeah.
Is that cheating?
That's actually preferable.
Right,
like
you
I
should
said.
be confiding in someone else.
Right.
And just because you're
You need to
attracted to
talk to
someone
else.
doesn't mean you're not allowed to confide in them. Yeah, that's not cheating. Speaking of which, I've got some stuff to tell you, but off the air.
Speaking of which, I got some cheating to do.
The Church of Lazlo on 96.5 The Buzz.
My man, Nick Wright.
What up, y'all?
Happy birthday.
Oh, you guys are too kind. I appreciate that.
What are you doing for your birthday?
Talking to you guys.
Hey, I texted you earlier. I said, happy birthday. One day you'll catch up with me. You said that's not going to happen. You won't ever actually catch up with me, but you want me to tell you how you will catch up with me?
Oh, sure. Let me hear this.
Well, this is true, because one day, for a long time, and it's probably starting to happen now, but you're not there yet. You will catch up with me. But at one point in radio and in my chosen career field, people would call me like the Wonder Kid. And whenever I went to meetings with like senior VPs and other PDs and stuff, I was always the youngest one in the room. They'd be like, oh, let's hear what Wonder Kid has to say. Let's hear what Boy Genius has to say. And then one day you wake up, and this is when you catch up with me. When you look around, you're like, I'm the oldest guy in this goddamn room.
Nothing I do impresses anyone anymore.
I'm no longer the youngest kid in this room.
Because it's a huge deal.
This is why, one of the many reasons why I, a decade later, continue to call into this radio show. Lazlo, you just more so than just about anyone outside of my wife nailed the exact feeling I'm having and the only melancholy I'm having, because today I turned 35, and that is the only part of it that's bittersweet, because I'm happy and I'm proud and I love, like, I'm in a good spot in many different ways, but I was like, I professionally no longer get to be, like, now anything I do, impressive or...
Oh, we're losing you.
Sorry about that. What I was saying is you nailed it exactly, that there is an element, now that I'm 35, that there's no longer a curve added for age.
Right.
As far as accomplishment.
Yeah, I got to move to Seattle at 23, and my mom got to tell people, when they said, what's Reed doing? Oh, he moved to Seattle, he's doing radio, but he's simulcast back here in Kansas City, and at 23... That's a big deal. And I don't know about you guys, but 35, like turning 30 is obviously a big monumental moment. You're 30, you're no longer like a young man. You know, no one's really going to call you a kid. But 35 was when I went, I'm definitely middle-aged. And now nothing I do impresses anyone. It's just, that's what you should be doing. Dumbass, that's your job.
Well, that's so funny that is what you guys are keying on, because that is the only bittersweet part of this, is exactly that.
Yeah.
Is there is no longer the Nick is doing X, Y,
There's
and
no
Z
shock to it.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, Nick, you're on TV and you're doing good and better than, tons of people have tried to get on TV before.
But this is the age I'm supposed to be doing.
But if you were going to do this is what you're supposed to do. Nobody says, like, oh, look at that young rock star, Dave Grohl.
Right.
Like, you're supposed to be doing, right? This is what you're doing. It's 18, 19, 20-year-olds, 23-year-olds that people are impressed with. 35, you're just doing your job now.
Yeah, I would have to, if I want to once again get the, oh my gosh, he's so young credibility, I'd have to run for United States Senator President.
Exactly. Now, there is always stuff you can go figure out.
Yeah, that's true. And you start thinking about that, too. It's funny, though, Lazlo, was yours 35? Because I wasn't worried about my 35th birthday. Then the day that it happened, like, I came home from work that day, I laid in bed and just had this existential dread about exactly what we're talking about, and no one had really prepared me for that being the exact date. I don't know if that's the exact date for everyone, but for me, it was tough.
Yeah, and I'm not. Today's actually been a really good day. I responded to all 120 text messages,
good,
which I felt good about. So I got that out of the way. And I'm talking to you guys. I'm going to do the radio show, all that stuff. But there is that young hot shot, this, that, or the other. That is now gone forever. And there's that element of it.
Yeah.
And so you went to Seattle at 23?
23 or 24, because I started working with Lazlo when I just turned 20 or I was 19 or something. And then when we started doing afternoons, I know I was 20. And then we went to Seattle in 2006. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was 24. 24 when I moved to Seattle.
It's so funny because people... And I guess
man, you had such a sky-high trajectory then.
Back then, right?
Yeah,
and then it's like, guess what? You're going to go back, and then when you're 37, you'll be sitting back where you were when you were 20. So, okay.
People reminisce on it. When I got to Kansas City, when I got back from college, but I started at 6'10" in June of 2007. And I remember talking to some people shortly after I'd been there, and one of them mentioning, oh, I think you'd really like the guys who used to be at the Buzz, but they went to Seattle. And I don't even know what the hell was going on at the radio station. Like, I know you guys were simulcast, but I don't exactly know how it worked. But when I got to Kansas City, you guys were not there. And then you guys all of a sudden showed back up, and then I weaseled my way into being your sports guy through multiple different, and then left, came back, all these things. So it's unbelievable.
Well,
my guys,
my friends. Happy birthday, and you're obviously still a young man, and you're obviously extremely successful for a guy at your age.
You ain't the youngest one in that room anymore.
You're just not the youngest one.
You're just not the young hotshot anymore.
I'm not.
But that's okay.
Sports note, may I? Mm-hmm. It's great news for Chiefs fans.
Yeah.
You saw the news with the Patriots, right?
No.
Their kicker's done.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I did see that.
That's a huge deal.
Okay.
A huge deal. They have had Adam Vinatieri, the greatest kicker of all time, and Steven Gostkowski, arguably the greatest kicker of his era, uninterrupted since 1995. They've played more games in the last 20 years without Tom Brady than they've played without this kicker. And now Mike Nugent is going to be their kicker. The Patriots are now officially in general population when it comes to making big kicks.
All right.
I love it. It makes me so happy.
Well, good. That's your birthday present.
It's a kicker, man.
Yeah. Lazlo. The first Super Bowl, the second Super Bowl, the third Super Bowl, the fourth Super Bowl, the fifth Super Bowl that they won. Would they have done it without the kicker? No, they wouldn't have. So bite me.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
The Church of Lazlo on 96.5 The Buzz.